Good morning. So we are back for our second day in Simple Machines. We are going to continue to talk about our question, which is how do machines make our lives easier, or how do simple machines make our lives easier, or what inventions make our lives easier. So we have a new book today that we are going to read, and then we will. Sorry, I bumped my computer and it started playing our song. We'll be there in a minute. Stop. Okay, sorry. So, we're going to be talking about those simple machines. We have a new story today that's called Orville and Wilbur Wright, and we're going to talk about them today and some of more of our amazing words. Okay, so let's start with our street rhyme. So again, let's read with me. So it says, spin, wheel, spin. Let the wagon ride begin. Twist, screw, twist. Remove a lid with a turn of a wrist. Raise, lever, raise. Machines help us in so many ways. Okay, so up here when it says spin, wheel, spin, obviously they're talking about the invention of the wagon wheel, okay, or the tire that eventually came about. Okay, twist, screw, twist. So we're talking about those twist things that we twist on our foods and things like that. Okay, and then raise, lever, raise is talking a little bit about a crowbar or a lever. We'll talk about it a little bit as a teeter-totter, but you guys will kind of see what that lever is and how it helps raise something that's really heavy. Okay, and then it says machines help in so many ways. So we're going to start with our song. And remember, yesterday we talked about those amazing words gadget, equipment, and convenient. So remember, gadget is just some sort of tool or something that helps us, makes a job easier. So remember, I said something about the electric pencil sharpener. This little boy has the can opener, which just makes it easier to open cans. Okay, so we're going to talk about those gadgets again today a little bit. Then we have equipment. Remember, equipment can just be something, it's just something that you're going to use to help you do a job. When most people think about equipment, they think about big tractors or big cranes or things like that, which are equipment. But then you can have something as simple like we talked about yesterday. PE equipment is things, it's equipment, it's considered equipment. Some of the things in our room, in our classrooms, are equipment. Okay, so there are things that we can do. And then convenient, remember, it means it's just easy to use, easy to access, it's easy to go to. Okay, so let's go ahead and sing our song. This time I'll mean to play it. Here we go. So let's sing our song for today.
Get the package, look inside, and then we'll spread the news. We've got lots of gadgets here, equipment we can use. Each convenient gadget is something we've all seen. Each convenient gadget is really a machine.
Good. So really, we're going to talk a lot about a gadget being more of a machine today than we did yesterday. So really, a gadget is some sort of machine or tool that's going to help us with whatever we need to do. It makes things easier in our lives. Okay, so today we have a new book. We haven't seen this one before. So this one is called Orville and Wilbur Wright. And it says, discover the life of an inventor. So in our story today, this one has some of our amazing words in it. So today I want you to listen for the words engine, pilot, and steer. So engine, pilot, and steer are the words that you're listening for today for me in the story. Okay? So this story is going to actually be about these two brothers that made an invention, and we're going to find out what those inventions are. Okay? So it says, discover the life of an inventor, Orville and Wilbur Wright. Now, in our story, we have what's called a table of contents. And when we have a table of contents, what that does is it tells you where in the story is the information. So for example, if I want to know the Wright brothers and their inventions, I'm going to turn to page 5 to read that. Okay, if I wanted to find out about important dates to remember, I could go across and say, okay, I need to look at page 22 for that. Now in our case, we're going to read the whole entire story, but if there's a point where we want to come back and look at something, we could use that table of contents to find out what page we need to turn to. Okay, so here it says the Wright brothers and their invention. It says for thousands of years, people have watched birds and wanted to fly. Wilbur and Orville Wright learned how to do it. They built the first airplane with an engine. People had flown with hot air balloons and gliders before. The Wright brothers' machine did not need hot air or wind. Its engine kept it flying. So here's a picture of them in their thing. So obviously their invention is a plane, okay? And this one is going to have an engine. Now, engine, I told you, was to listen for, was one of our amazing words. Oh, sorry. Okay? So when I think about an engine, I think more about a car than I do than anything else. But an engine just simply means it's a machine that is making it run or making it go, okay? And so they wanted to do a airplane that had an engine because as of right now all they had was gliders, which only uses that hot air and the wind to be able to keep it going. Okay, so down here the caption says the Wright brothers built the first airplane with an engine, and that's what that picture is over here. Okay, now I want you to also notice, whoops, as I go through, some of our words are in bold or kind of a darker black, and that's because those words are in the glossary, and a glossary is in the back of the book, and that gives you the definition of a word. So if you don't know what the word means, you can look back in the glossary to find that out, and we'll look at the glossary at the end. Okay, this one says the Wrights learned to make things work. Wilbur Wright was born on April 16th, 1867. His brother Orville was born on August 19th, 1871. Their parents were Susan and Milton Wright. They lived in Dayton, Ohio. It says the boys thought their mother could fix anything that was broken. They watched her and learned how to take things apart. They liked to figure out how machines worked. So here the caption down here says the Wright brothers learned to fix things by watching their mother, which is kind of different because most of the time the people that are fixing things are the dads. But in this case, it was their mom. Oops, sorry, this just keeps turning on me. So this is a picture of their family. Okay, so that was them with their mom and their dad. It says the brothers learned to make bicycles. In 1896, they opened the Wright Cycle Company. They made a bicycle called the Wright Special. They sold Wright Specials for $18 each. They wanted to make something new. Like many people in the late 1800s, they wanted to invent a flying machine. They watched birds and tried to understand flight. So here the caption down here says many people owned bicycles made by the Wright Cycle Company. So they did invent airplanes, but they also had the Wright Cycle Company, which is where they sold their bicycles, and they had things with bicycles. Okay, so they learned how to make those bicycles. And then could you imagine buying a bike now for $18? I don't think we'd be able to do that. All right, here it says the first gliders. So it says the Wrights built a glider. It flew like a kite. The brothers could watch it fly. They couldn't steer it, however. It crashed when they tried to make it turn. They invented a way of steering the glider. The idea came from watching birds turn in flight. To turn the glider, the Wrights twisted the edge of the wings up or down. And our caption here says, Orville crashes his glider. So you can see here he's crashing it down. Okay? But in our thing up here, it said steer. So they couldn't steer it. So to steer it is when you have your steering wheel or like your bicycle handles, when you turn your handles to be able to steer or to make sure that you're going in the right direction is when you're steering something. So they tried to create it by steering from what they saw with birds. Okay? And we're still listening for that word pilot, but we'll wait. Okay, it says in September 1900, the Wright brothers tested their new glider. They flew it at a windy spot near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Wilbur piloted it for the few seconds. The rest of the time, the brothers flew it like a kite. Sometimes it soared and turned. Other times it crashed on the sand dunes. The Wright brothers returned to Ohio to make a better glider. So here it says the Wright brothers testing their glider. So here they are testing it. And they have that back part that's going to help them. But here it did say Wilbur piloted it for a few seconds. So to pilot something means that you are in control. You are flying it. So think about an airline or an airplane. You have a pilot. Their job is to fly the airplane and get you where you're supposed to be going safely. Okay, so here they were able to pilot it or steer it and drive it or fly it, I guess, for a little bit of time. Okay, and then the rest of the time they flew it like a kite. In July 1901, they came back to Kitty Hawk. Their new glider was stable enough to fly with a pilot. So there's that word again, and this time it's in bold, so we know it's in our glossary. It says, Wilbur glided over the beach for more than 300 feet. Then he tried to turn the glider. It stopped in the air and fell. The brothers kept trying. In 1902, they added a special tail to their glider. It kept the glider stable in the air during turns. So it kept it so it didn't tip over. It says the Wright brothers gliders with a pilot. So you can see, look at him. He's laying down on the plane to fly it. Is that how a pilot nowadays would do that? No, they sit in a big old chair, right? All right, good. It says making the flying machine. It says the Wrights were ready to make a flying machine. They built a plane with 2 sets of wings called a biplane. It had a gasoline engine on the lower wing. To steer it, the pilot had to lie down on the lower wing. The brothers named their invention the Flyer. So here's their thing, and you can see that their engine is down here too, okay? And then they're flying it by lying down on the plane. And a biplane just simply means that there's 2 wings, one on top of the other, okay? Wilbur won the coin toss to decide who would be the first pilot. On December 14th, 1903, he took flight. The engine stalled. The plane fell to the ground after only 3 seconds. On December 17th, 1903, it was Orville's turn. He flew. He stayed in the air for 12 seconds. He flew farther than 100 feet. It was the first controlled flight in a plane with an engine. And the caption down here says, over the years, Wilbur and Orville crashed many planes. Uh-oh. But you can see each time that they do, they get better and better with their invention and they're improving it. So sometimes we have to make those mistakes in order to figure out the best way to do something. So it says, remembering the Wright brothers. It says, the Wright brothers kept making their airplanes better. Soon they could fly for hundreds of miles. In 1912, Wilbur died. 3 years later, Orville sold their airplane company. By the time he died in 1948, people could fly almost anywhere in the world. People can learn more about the Wrights at the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., and the Kill Devil Hills National Park in North Carolina. And down here it says inventors Orville and Wilbur Wright. So it's just showing a picture of them, which is kind of cool. So they continued to work and ended up being able to fly almost anywhere, which is cool. So this one says important dates to remember. So this one says 1867, Wilbur Wright was born. 1871, Orville Wright was born. 1896, they opened the Wright Cycle Company. In 1900, they tested an unmanned glider at Kitty Hawk. That means that there was nobody flying it. 1901, they tested a manned glider at Kitty Hawk, which means somebody was on it. 1903, it was the first controlled flight by a pilot in a plane with an engine. In 1912, Wilbur Wright died, and in 1948, Orville Wright died. Okay, and then I kept telling you in the bold words that was the glossary. So a glossary is simply just where it gives you definitions of words that you might not know. So for example, that biplane I told you was a plane with 2 sets of wings, one above the other or one on top of the other, which is what I explained. Okay, a glider, we heard a lot, was an airplane without an engine that is kept up in the air by the wind. Okay, the hot air balloon is a huge bag filled with hot air that rise, carrying people in a basket underneath. The pilot is a person who steers the plane or drives it, controls it. And stalled means that it suddenly stopped. So we'll talk a little bit more about those glossaries and those things as we go through. Okay, good job. So today in our amazing words, we were able to talk about that word engine, pilot, and steer as we went through. Okay, so those are the words that we kind of talked about. So yesterday we talked about those diphthongs OI, OY. So remember we talked about OI that says oi, like in oil, or in join or coin. Remember, OI is going to be at the beginning of the words or in the middle of the words. Then we also talked about OY, which says oi as well, such as in boy or joy. Okay, and remember, OY is almost always going to be at the end of words, but remember I showed you royal, how it was in the middle, and then also in names like Joyce, it was in the middle as well. Okay, and then if you think about our decodable yesterday, it said Floyd, which that OY is in the middle as well. So remember I told you in names it could be in the middle. But most of the time that OY is going to be at the end. Okay? Today we're going to learn about two new things. So we learned about suffixes already. And if you remember back, we learned about like cheerful and FUL was our suffix. Okay, so that was at the end of our word. We ended it to our base word. Okay, the other one that we talked about was the LY, so such as like weekly. Weekly we take a test on our reading, so that ly at the end is another suffix we talked about. So today we're going to talk about two more suffixes. So we're going to talk about the suffix er. So you have the word paint, right, is your base word, and then we add er and it makes it painter. Okay, we also have or. So for example, we have sail, and then we add it to the end and it says sail or. Now, when we add these suffixes, er or or, okay, it means a person or a thing that does something. So for example, a painter is a person who paints. Okay, so that's what it means. Painter just means a person who paints. Okay, now, I don't have, these are all pretty much people that are doing things. But let me give you an example of another one that's not. So, for example, if I come here, sorry, and I look at buzzer, so maybe you set a timer, and the buzzer will go off. So that is a thing that is doing something. Okay, so these are all people that are doing something. Okay, but this could be a thing that does something. So my buzzer will buzz when it's time. Okay, so it will buzz. So buzzer, it's a thing that buzzes. It's a thing that does something. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. All right, so we have a couple of these that we looked at. So let's just think about ER first. So I just explained painter. So it simply means a person who paints. Then we have singer, a person that sings. Okay, speaker. So this could be two things, but a person that speaks, or a speaker is a thing that puts out noise or puts out music or puts out something like that. So that could be something that's doing something. It could be a thing as well. So this could be a person or a thing. And then we just talked about buzzer. Okay, over here, same idea. This is still going to be a person or a thing that does something. Okay, so this is a sailor. So it's going to be a person that sails. Okay, they're in charge of sailing that boat. Okay, inventor. So Wilbur and Orville Wright were inventors. So they were people that invented. Okay, so they invented the flying machine. Okay, and then we have doctor. So this is a person that is going to take care of people or doctor us. Okay, they're going to make us feel better. Okay, so today we're going to be working on these suffixes. So it's adding to the end. Remember, this is a base word, and then we add it to the end, which changes the meaning a little bit. So we have ER and OR that we're going to talk about in our decodable and in our phonics book today, as well as talking about the OI, as well. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and get your decodable. Teacher, actor, sailor. So that's the one that we have for today. And I'm going to get my highlighter or my pencil if you don't have the highlighter. Okay, and I can already see that I need to highlight teacher, actor, sorry, my teacher didn't highlight very well, and sailor. Okay, so I know that the or has OR, right? But it's not added as a suffix. It's my word completely. So that doesn't count. So we have teacher, actor, sailor, written by Grace Hammond. Okay, when I come down here, I want to go ahead and highlight suffixes, ER-OR. So that's the skill we're working on today. So let's read it. It says teacher, so a person who teaches, actor, person who acts, sailor, singer, and doctor. So we talked about those other words. Okay, here we have our reminder or our review skill of OI, which we'll see in our story today. Okay, so remember OI is at the beginning and the middle. OY is generally at the end. Okay, so we have boys, choice, joy, hoist, voice, joyful, and join. Then you have your high frequency words that you can read to your parents. Okay, but remember as we go through, we're going to be looking for those suffixes, ER and OR. And then when you read it to your parents, that's what you're telling them. That's the reason we highlighted those words. Okay. So it says, what will you be when you grow up? Boys and girls can become anything if they try hard. So in that one, I don't need anything. Okay, let's look at the next page. It says, Peter's choice is a teacher. He will teach reading and writing. Pete likes school. He is smart. So in this one, I just need teacher. So he is going to be a person that teaches. Okay, so Peter's choice is a teacher. All right, let's look at the next page. It says, Joy will be an actor. She will act on stage. Joy is funny. She is not shy. So I think to be an actor, you definitely cannot be shy. All right, so we're going to put actor. And that's the only one we have. We have that OR, so she's going to be a person to act. Okay. On our next page, it says, Tom will be a sailor. He will work on a ship. Tom will hoist sails. He likes feeling the wind on his face. So in this one, first sentence, I just need sailor. So he's going to be a person that sails on boats. All right, this one says, Dan will be a singer. He will sing songs. Dan has a nice voice. Being on stage makes him joyful. So here I'm going to put singer. Okay, so he will be a singer. So I have that ER ending. Okay, next page. It says, Kim will be a doctor. She will help people. She will work hard. So on this one, I need doctor. So she's going to be a person to help people. Okay. Last page. It says, what is your dream? Join in. You can be a teacher, an actor, a sailor, or anything. So on this one, I need teacher, actor, and sailor. So teacher, actor, and sailor. All right, so let's go ahead and read this together. And then again, remember, you need to read it to your parents and remind them that the reason we highlighted those words is because they have the suffixes ER or OR. Okay, so it says teacher, actor, or sailor. So we got to think about what we're reading this time now. So it says, what will you be when you grow up? Boys and girls can become anything if they try hard. Pete's choice is a teacher. He wants to teach reading and writing. Pete likes school. He is smart. Joy will be an actor. She will act on stage. Joy is funny. She is not shy. Tom will be a sailor. He will work on a ship. Tom will hoist sails. He likes feeling the wind on his face. So in the story, it's just telling us about what kids want to be when they grow up. So it says Dan will be a singer. He will sing songs. Dan has a nice voice. Being on stage makes him joyful. Kim will be a doctor. She will help people. She will work hard. Okay, and then on the back it says, what is your dream? Join in. You can be a teacher, an actor, a sailor, or anything. So today you guys are going to read this to your parents. You guys are going to remember that the suffixes ER or OR are going to help with that. Now, I am also going to send a Flipgrid to you guys about our decodable today. So this is just kind of a fun thing to do. It's not anything that's major, but what I want you to do on the Flipgrid today is I want you to go in and record maybe what you think you might want to be when you grow up. Now, can that change? Absolutely. Okay, when I was young, I was certain that I was going to be a PE teacher and not a teacher in the classroom. So I was certain I was going to go and be PE. When I went to college, that's what I started in. I started to go in to be a PE teacher. And then once I got into the actual gym and started doing stuff, I was like, I don't think this is what I want to do. I think I want to teach in the classroom. So I switched and went to the classroom. I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but I just didn't know what yet. So my mom was a PE teacher and I thought that's what I wanted to do. But then when I actually got into college and got into the courses of teaching and things like that, I really enjoyed the classroom. So, this is just fun. Just think about what is it you think you might want to do when you grow up, and I want you to tell us on the Flipgrid, okay? So I'm going to be sending that out after I'm done with my lessons today, and I just want you to record and just listen to each other's and see what people maybe think they might want to be when they grow up. It's kind of a fun way to share since we can't share in the classroom, okay? So just be looking for that. Know that that's coming to you. All right. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go into our phonics books again. So we're going to go in and practice our OR and our ER. Okay, so we're going to look at page 557, and on here we're going to do our page here. So it says write a word from the box to match each picture. So this is just practicing on that ER. So for example, this is a worker, so a person who works. Okay, so look at this person. She is a painter. We can tell by her paintbrush. Okay, so I'm just simply going to write the word painter on the line. Painter. So I would just match that as painter. So she is a person who paints. Okay, you're going to do the same thing with these guys. This is a sailor, this is a baker, and a teacher. Okay, down here, I want you to draw a picture of each word. So number 5 is a driver. So this could be a driver of a bus. This could be a driver of a race car. This could be a driver of a train. Okay, so think about anything that you're going to need a driver for. Okay, then this one is an actor. So I want you to draw a picture of somebody acting, maybe on stage. So you're going to draw a stage and draw them acting. Okay, so you're going to finish that page on your own, page 557. Go ahead and turn the page. So on this page, we're going to review our OI-OY. Okay, so this one says circle the rhyming words in each row and write them. So this one says toy, oil, boil. So which of those words rhyme? Well, I know oil and boil rhyme, so I'm going to circle those, and then I'm going to write them on the line. So I would write oil, and then I would write boil. Okay, so I'm just going to write oil and boil. Okay, number 3, it says coin, join, boil. So I know coin and join rhyme, and then I would write those on the line. Same thing with here. Okay, down here it says read the sentence, write a list word that means the same as the underlined word. So this one says, do you hear the big pig squeal? So what is another word or another sound that a pig would make? So we know that would be oink. So I'm going to write oink on the line. So O-I-N-K. I, N, K, because I know oink and squeal kind of mean the same thing. Here it says the farmer's sound is loud. So what would his sound be? It would be his voice. So I'm going to write voice. So I would put V-O-I-C-E. Okay, so I would do voice. All right, the last thing that we're going to do today, well, not really the last, but we're going to move into our Grammar Jammer. So we'll do 2 more pages in our books. I will do 1 page with you, and then you will do 1 page on your own regarding pronouns. So remember, pronouns can take of the place of some words in a sentence. So usually a pronoun is going to take the place. So remember, we have worked on these with our Grammar Jammer last week, and we did the pronouns I and me. So remember, I was replacing myself, and me was replacing me if it was after the action. Okay, so we kind of talked about that last week with our stuff. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about pronouns. We're going to watch our Grammar Jammer on pronouns really quick, and then we will move back into our book. So, trying to get my Grammar Jammer to come up. Sorry, it's being kind of slow right now. All right, so we're going to watch our Grammar Jammer on pronouns, and then we'll go back into our books and be on the very next page that we were just at. Okay. All right, so here comes our Grammar Jammer.
I am me, he and she, and don't forget both they and we. All these words, have you heard? Take the place of a noun, they are so handy. Chalk is not tired, I am not tired. Tell me a story, tell me a story. Chip likes to sing, I like to sing. Sing a song with Turtle, sing a song with me. Did you see? I and me take the place of a noun. They are called pronouns, they are so handy. I and me, he and she, and don't forget both they and we. All these words, have you heard? Take the place of a noun, they are so handy. Chug is gone swimming, he has gone swimming. Bee likes to fly, she likes to fly. Chip and Turtle are dancing, they are dancing. All the animals wave, we all wave. All these words, have you heard? Take the place of a noun, they're called pronouns.
All right, so if we remember that, those pronouns are going to take the place of a noun, okay, and they're going to replace that to make it make sense. So if we look at the next page in your book, so this is going to be on page 559, it says more about pronouns. So it says a pronoun can take the place of some words in a sentence. And remember, those are nouns. So it says I, you, he, she, it, and we, and they are used in the naming part of the sentence. So that's the subject. Remember, that's who it's about. Okay, who or what it's about, I guess. Then me, you, him, her, it, us, and them are used in the action part of the sentence. So for example, it says Ben likes machines. So he replaces Ben, makes them. Them replaces the machine. So that's the action part, or the part that they're making. So Ben likes machines, he makes, Ben likes machines, he makes them. So he was replacing Ben, them is replacing machines. Okay, so here it says, write the pronoun in parentheses that can take the place of the underlined word or words. So it says, Sarah uses a lever. So him or she. We know Sarah's a girl, so we know it's going to be she. So I'm going to go ahead and just write she on the line. And I'm going to capitalize it because it's the beginning of my sentence. So she uses a lever. Okay, number 2, it says, pulleys are all around. So they are all around or them are all around? Well, we know it's they. So again, it's the beginning of my sentence, so I'm going to capitalize it. So T-H-E-Y. So they. All right, number 3 says, Ben helps Sarah. So he helps Sarah or him helps Sarah? Well, we know that he would be the one that makes sense. So we're going to go capital H because it's the beginning of the sentence, E. Okay, Sarah sees the machines. She sees the machines or her sees the machines? Well, we know it would be she. And again, I'm going to capitalize because it's the beginning of my sentence. So she. All right, number 5, it says Sarah likes the machines. So Sarah likes them or Sarah likes they? Well, I know it's them because it's a thing. So we're going to put T-H-E-M. And notice I didn't capitalize that one because it's not the beginning of my sentence. Okay, then it says I like Ben's machine. So I like her or I like it? I know it's going to be it. So I'm going to write I-T and I have it. Okay, so you should have just done that page with me. All right, now we're going to turn 4 pages. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so on 4, it says more about pronouns. So here it says, imagine you were using a machine. Write about what happens. Use the pronouns it, he, him, she, her, I, me, we, or us. So you can use any of those. Okay, so you're going to imagine that you're using some sort of machine and you're going to tell me what happens. What is happening when you use that machine? It could be a pencil sharpener. It could be your bicycle. It could be your scooter. Okay, it could be your hoverboard. What machine are you using? And make sure that you're using those pronouns to replace that. Okay, so you're going to do that on this page. That's page 566. And you're going to have your parents turn that into me. So today your parents are turning in 3 pages to me basically. Okay, so they're going to be turning in page 557 with the O-R-E-R. They're going to turn in page 558 with the review of O-I-O-Y. We did this page together. I don't need to see it. And then you're going to do that page 566 where you're going to tell me about you using some sort of machine and how it works. Okay? So write about what happens when you use that machine. Okay, so what is going to happen if I'm using an electric pencil sharpener? It's going to be quicker. It's going to sharpen my pencils faster. I'm not going to have all that stuff all over the floor. So just kind of think about that. Think about what machine can you use. And you can have a fun machine, like I said, the hoverboard or something like that. All right, so you guys need to have that stuff done for me. And again, make sure you look for that flip grid on telling us what you might want to be when you grow up. Okay? All right. You guys have a good day and we'll see you later.